finally. Okay, let me just plug the power in. Good. This will be third time lucky, hopefully. My name's Mark. I'm a drum teacher in the UK from the website drumnosis.com, and I recently posted a video of me using a double pedal technique called constant release. And I got quite a few questions about how it works, why I use it, what I use it for. So I thought I'd do a little video and show you. The constant release technique is similar to the Mahler technique on the hand, so it's kind of it's what I call a 2-for-1. It's a fairly straightforward way of generating a lot of control. So the main reason I use the constant release technique is to play middle tempos, sort of about let's say 175 beats a minute, 170 beats a minute, something like that, because there's a tempo dead zone in between about 150 and about 190, should we say, where everything below that is all leg or all ankle. Anything above that again, all ankle again. So if you wanted to sort of identify the muscles you're using when you're playing slower, so it's mostly calf muscle and quad. I try and take my hips out of the equation as much as possible because they're terrible at doing this. So the constant release technique gives me a nice mix of those two. There's a lot of stuff out there on how to play really fast. And I think there's plenty of material covering the top end stuff. I'd always noticed that I really struggled around those middle tempos between 150 and 190, particularly when I was trying to play a song by Morbid Angel called Where the Slime Live, which is at 175 beats a minute. I really struggled. I'm just going to see what's written on the screen here. Okay. What's the highest BPM I can hit? About 220. Comfortably, I can hit 230 on a good day. I don't really worry about the top end stuff because there's a variety of reasons I'll go into, but I'm mostly concerned with getting volume. So, you know, whatever I'm doing, I try and get it quite loud. This is quite a heavily dampened bass drum at the moment because, I don't know if you can see it there, I've got a trigger on it at the moment. In a second I'll take the camera off and show you up close. I normally like to have the bass drum a bit more open than this. And my primary concern is keeping a balance between power and speed. So in order to have some power, you have to sacrifice some top end speed. My sound kind of disappears after that. I like it to be quite wide and loud. But the stuff I always struggled with was the middle tempos. And I figured a lot of people did, and it turns out that it looks like they do. So I started to practice an endurance routine by Virgil Donati, where you accelerate. You start out at 100 beats a minute and accelerates every 8 bars by 20 beats. And as I was doing this, I noticed that my foot was starting around the middle tempo, start to use this 2-for-1 motion. And it turned out I could do it on both feet. So I started to sort of experiment with interleaving them. Now you can see almost immediately it's pretty damn loud and I'm not really doing anything. So I'm just going to see what these questions are. Hey Miguel. And so so I kind of started to look at being able to do it on each foot individually and noticed that I could kind of interleave it. And I'm hardly doing anything. I mean, I'm just literally letting my foot float on the pedal. So I've taken all of this and this out of the equation completely. There's no pushing. It's very relaxed. So I'm going to go through the movement a little bit, and then I'm just going to talk briefly about coordination. But again, I mean, you can take this to whatever tempo you want to take it to. There's a guy on YouTube called Wanja Groger, I think that's how you say his name. I think he's German, and he goes incredibly fast with this technique. So technique is just a tool, but I've found this extremely useful for playing in those kind of dead zone tempos. So the first thing to understand is that there's only two ways to hit a pedal. You've got heel down and then a drop stroke. Okay. So some people play heel up like that. I never bury the beater. I don't like the sound. As I was saying earlier, I'm constantly I'm looking for a middle ground all the time. So when I'm triggering the bass drum, often if you bury the beater, you can get mistriggering from the vibration of the pedal. So I always bring it out. It's like when I hit a drum, I always rebound the stick. It makes sense to me to do that. And I'm looking for it to be as relaxed as possible. So when I'm talking about a heels up stroke, I'm talking about more of a drop and a rebound. Okay, so you've got heel down and heel up. Heel down is pretty straightforward. You put your foot on the pedal, you lift and drop. Now I did a previous video about constant release quite a while ago. I do one-to-one lessons, Russell. Drop me a line after this, and we'll have a chat about it. So where was I? The heels down technique is from the ankle and the shin. Now, when I did my previous video, I talked about the idea of when you're throwing the stick, when you're playing with the hands, you throw the stick down and you let it rebound. Pedals the exact opposite. Pedals up, down. Stick is down, up. Pedals up. I don't have a pad handy, I'm afraid. And if you understand that principle, it becomes much easier to be relaxed. So, heel down. It's exactly the same as tapping your foot. Now, the heel up or the drop stroke, which is what I specifically use, is a little trickier because you are pivoting from here and using the calf muscle to do this. So again, you can see the beat is coming out of the head. Same as the heel down stroke. It's a little bit easier to get it right, but there's none of that. There's nothing wrong with burying it. There's plenty of guys who do. It's just for me that doesn't work because it creates tension in the leg, and I'm trying to avoid tension at all costs. It's like jumping, so you kind of push using this muscle to get that. The hardest thing is to not get this. Okay? That's fine if you're doing it intentionally. But if you're doing it accidentally, when you should be able to play that without. And it's similar to a Mahler width stroke. So when you put them together, I've got a practice pad handy. No, I haven't. I'll see if I can do it like this. So you can actually get your hand and foot to do the same thing. So that's, constant release on the foot, Mahler on the hands. It's the same idea. It's a 2-for-1. So once you've got the idea of the heel down stroke and the heel and the drop stroke, just put them together. Now, it's similar to heel toe, but it isn't heel toe. I'm not an expert in heel toe. I don't use it because this is my chosen technique. There's nothing wrong with it. The similarity is that it's a 2-for-1, but this is and it can be used for double strokes. I don't really use double strokes on double pedal. I've always been single strokes because they generate more power, and I've only got so much time in the day. It's hard enough to get good at this. Where was I? Double strokes. Yeah. So it is similar in as much as same as with the hands. You've got wrist and fingers, and then 2-for-1. So molar or constant release. You've got drop, tap combination. So that's how you could get a double stroke out with the heel or with the toe. So what I do is I put them together in a combination, just playing straight 8th notes. Playing with both feet. Okay. I am, by the way, left-handed and right-footed. Which has made for some interesting combinations over the years. So one of the first things I noticed is when I got this going, that I would lead with the toes. I would play toe, toe, heel to get this. Which, you know, sounds fantastic on its own. As soon as I bring the hi-hat in, my hi-hat hand does not like playing with that front stroke. Which was a pain in the arse, to put it mildly. So I noticed that I feel the downstroke with my heel, so I had to reverse it. So I had to teach myself to play heel, heel, toe, toe. Now, if you practice this technique, you should be able to do it both ways, because certain positions in the bar those kind of things are generated from the front. Whereas if I'm playing something where I've got to hit with a snare drum, I'll lead with the heel. So you need to learn both ways. But to get a roll going, you practice that technique and then you just interleave. Like that. So that's basically it. It's kind of like on the hands playing molar on each hand and then putting them together. So one way you can practice it is to actually do that. The main thing you're looking for is that this should feel effortless. There's no tension, I'm not pushing, the pedal's doing the work for me, and it feels like my foot's just kind of almost been pushed up and down. So I'll just briefly show you the pedal settings. Because everybody's interested in that. So I have a, let's see if you can see this from here. I've got a Roland, now bear with me, I'm trying to point this in the right direction. Where's my hand? There it is. So this is my bass drum pedal, it's a Pearl Eliminator, blue cam. It's about medium spring tension, give or take. So the spring tension, if you want to do this kind of thing, I think it's better to have a medium spring tension. The only reason you would want high spring tension is if you're going extremely fast. I've got a medium tension pinstripe head, as you can see it's slightly wrinkled at the edges. And I've got an RT30K kick trigger there, and that's why it's so heavily dampened at the moment. I normally don't have all this in there. Okay, so again, back to this, it's just a medium spring tension. because I like to have the best of everything, and I like to try and kind of balance between power, acoustic bass drum and trigger, and I do like to use triggers, especially when I'm recording death metal, and it's useful to have kind of that MIDI signal. So hopefully that gives you some idea of this approach. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, and my kind of practice method is really simple. I'll set up a roll at about 170 beats a minute, and I practice single strokes, double strokes, paradiddles, do a bit of stick control over the top. The other thing I like to do is a pyramid exercise where I'll start at 150, and then every 5 minutes I put the tempo up by 10 beats. So I go 150, 160, 170, 180, and just concentrate on relaxing, because again, you can get temporary speed if you tense, but you'll hurt yourself. And I speak from bitter, painful experience, having struggled with this. So hopefully this is helpful to you. I do teach privately, so if you're interested, send me a message. I have an online course dealing with bass drum phrasing, not so much the technical stuff. I prefer to teach the technical stuff face to face. The technique will take you as fast as you need. The technique is not the thing that will give you speed. That's just practice. But understanding that you've got to. It's more important to know your sound and what you're going for than just sort of go for speed for the sake of it. So that's the constant release technique. Drop me a line if you're interested in lessons, and I'll be doing another one of these fairly soon, and I'll probably show you the pyramiding exercise. So cool. Cheers, guys. See you soon.